Okay, today I thought we could just have a little look at some phrasal verbs. What is a phrasal verb? Good question. A phrasal verb is a verb that is used with a preposition. What is a preposition? Do I have to teach you everything? A preposition is a word that gives a sense of direction or position. So we're thinking of words like up, down, in, out, through, over. Those bad boys. I could spend hours trying to put together a list of the most common phrasal verbs that we use, but that's very hard to define. So instead, I'm thinking of just moving from topic to topic and trying to categorize them. So for today, I've gone for phrasal verbs relating to movement verbs. Verbs like turn, move, run, and jog. Are there any phrasal verbs which use the verb jog? Yeah, kinda. We'll come to that. Okay, so to begin with, the phrasal verb turn up. Turn up? It's very common. I think it's safe to say that that's a very common phrasal verb, and to turn up just means to arrive somewhere. So, for example, what time did you turn up to the party last night? I think I turned up around 9 p.m. How about you? Oh, I didn't go to the party in the end. Notice that I used in the end there. If you saw my last video, then you'll know why I'm trying to find opportunities to use that phrase. What time did your friend turn up? Oh, she didn't turn up in the end. She let me down. Talking of down, the next phrasal verb is going to be to turn down. To turn down means to reject. So you could have your proposal turned down. I had my last project turned down. My project was rejected. You can get turned down by someone. If you try to start a conversation with someone that you like, but they're not interested, they may turn you down. It hurts, I know. The next one is turn in. Okay, so there are loads of possible definitions for these, but one of them is actually to go to bed, to sleep. So you could say something like, I'm pretty shattered, so I'm going to turn in. Night, guys, if you're saying it to a group of people. Other phrases that would be used in a similar way there would be to hit the hay, to call it a night, to call it a day, or simply in a more literal way, to head to bed. Similar to turn in is turn into. Similar in the way it looks, not similar in the meaning. Turn into means to transform. For example, turning water into wine. Dave, mate, you turn into a right diva when you're hungry. And the last one I'm going to mention with turn is turn out. If we're using turn out, how something turned out, we're talking about it having a particular ending or result. Because of this, we can use it with the phrase in the end. For example, I watched this video thinking I knew all of the phrasal verbs. In the end, it turned out I'd been using them all wrong. What about phrasal verbs using move? One that you might need to use on public transport in the UK. If someone is taking up a bit too much room, or they're taking up 2 seats, then you can tell them to move up. Another one which you may not be so aware of is the phrasal verb budge up. Budge up is very much more of a British phrasal verb, meaning to move up, to make space. So if you haven't got anywhere to sit, but you think people can make room for you, then tell them to budge up. Would it be alright just to budge up a little so I can sit down? Thanks. Another little one that you can always use is move on. To move on is to progress, to get past a challenge or a hurdle, difficulty. If you have a difficult breakup, then your friends might tell you to move on. Some would say that it's not the best advice for a friend to give, but they're probably more likely to say that than something nice. Now let's move on to run phrasal verbs. If you run into someone or if you bump into someone, it means that you meet them by chance. I bumped into my old Spanish teacher in town the other day and she didn't recognise me at all, so I had to remind her who I was. We've got run out. If you run out of something, it means that you use something up. You don't have it anymore. You've finished it. Like that horrible moment when you're craving pancakes and then you realise that you've run out of milk. Happens all the time. It also means expire. So you could say something like, my passport runs out in September. Run through is also one that you might use. It's one that I use when teaching students, and it means to go over or to go through something. If you're reading something, maybe rehearsing or practicing it, just to remember, like a run through of a rehearsal for a West End show. That's something that they would definitely do in the days leading to the live performance. And finally, I'm going to end on a kind of rude phrasal verb. You need to use them, and it's jog on. If you tell someone to jog on, you're basically telling them to go away. You're telling them to get lost. So when you're next walking down the street somewhere in the UK and the same person that approached you the day before comes up to you with their clipboard trying to sell you some kind of insurance, you can say, jog on mate, you spoke to me yesterday and I wasn't interested then and I'm not interested now. Sorry. The sorry doesn't really work with the whole aggressive vibe surrounding jog on, but you could say it if you're in a jokey mood and you feel bad afterwards. Alright, that's where we'll stop for today. I know I haven't gone through too many, but I just wanted to take some time and give some examples so you definitely know how to use those ones. I would hate it if I didn't explain things thoroughly and then you just randomly started going around the street telling random people to jog on and then told them that it was my fault. If you like this kind of video, please let me know so I can get a sense of what kinds of videos you want me to make in the future, and have fun using these phrasal verbs. Bye.